After a terrible game against the Arizona Cardinals, the Pittsburgh Steelers are dealt with more bad news. Star safety Minkah Fitzpatrick has a broken hand, and it is his left hand, confirms Mike Tomlin. So, Minkah Fitzpatrick, after the game, he was also talking to the media, and he described how he broke his hand. He said that he made a tackle late in the second quarter, and then a few plays later, he went to go punch out the football from the ball carrier, and that's when he felt it, and that's when he knew he had a broken hand. And then Mike Tomlin said at halftime they put like a cast on his hand, and then he was able to return to play in the second half and was able to finish the game. But this is bad news for the Steelers. I don't know how much time he's going to miss, or if any, but that just limits him in so many different ways. From making tackles, getting interceptions, just grabbing guys, it's going to affect him a lot. He said some ways that it affected him that he felt was just grabbing people to try to make a tackle. That's how he said that it affected him the most in the second half after it happened. What does Minkah Fitzpatrick do best? Usually, he's going to be making interceptions, even though this season he hasn't really done so. So I don't know how much it's going to affect him later down on the line when he's trying to go up for interceptions and guard the players and kind of roam the secondary, or even him being one of the Steelers' leading tacklers on the team. We all know he comes up to make tackles a lot. Usually when you make tackles, you have to hit the guy. Sometimes you have to wrap them up, grab at them. How much is it going to affect him and his play style in those two categories? The future awaits to see how it will affect him, if he'll miss any time or anything like that. But it doesn't seem as though he's too worried about it, but I'm just reporting some news that he broke his hand officially. Also, the Steelers are dealing with so many injuries just from this game alone. The Steelers dealt with Kenny Pickett dealing with an ankle injury. He was ruled doubtful to return and then didn't see the field the rest of the game. So he is in a question mark for this Thursday's game against New England. Will he be playing? We don't know. Elandon Roberts, he went down with a groin injury. He was doubtful to return and then ruled out almost immediately. And will it affect him for his upcoming game against New England? Probably. We all know groin injuries are lingering issues. Isaac Seumalo, we don't know the severity of the injury to his shoulder, but it is a shoulder injury, and he was quickly ruled out for the rest of the game as well. And then we all know TJ Watt, who was banged up towards the later part of the game with an ankle injury. We don't know if it's a high ankle sprain, low ankle sprain, or just a regular ankle sprain, or whatever it is. He was able to return to the game, but then he was seen limping off on the sideline once again towards the end. All this comes in a very short week. Like I said, we have a very quick turnaround with facing the New England Patriots on Thursday. So who will be in, who will be out later on in the week, we'll find out. And we also know the participation in practice. But just going through all of these injuries, if any of these guys do miss some time, for example, Kenny Pickett, if he misses some time, will it be Mitchell Trubisky starting? Probably. Or will it be Mason Rudolph? Who knows? Also, Elandon Roberts, if he misses some time, he's one of their best run-stopping linebackers and one of the best run-stopping linebackers in the entire league. So if he misses time, Mark Robinson and Michael Walker is going to have to step up, and the Steelers' second half in the game against the Arizona Cardinals, we've seen them really conclude with their running game. They're able to finish the game off with their running game because Elandon Roberts didn't play the whole second half. In the first half, they're able to kind of limit it. They're limiting the running game, limiting James Conner, getting some tackle for losses to start off the game. But once Elandon Roberts went down, that's when their running game really started to pick up. Also, Isaac Seumalo, if he's able to play, if he's not able to play, we all know Nate Herbig is going to be the left guard. Also, Minkah Fitzpatrick, I do think he'll play because he did return. Why else would he be playing with a broken hand if you don't expect to play down the road? But if he does miss in time, we're going to see the same lineups that we saw basically the last 4 weeks that he returned from a hamstring injury when he was out for all those weeks. We're going to see it be Thompson. We're going to see it be DeMonte KZ and some other guys from the practice squad. But Minkah Fitzpatrick, he just came back from the hamstring injury. That's why this is all so bad, because he has been out. He's been dealing with injuries this whole season. And him just coming back, you expect him to help the defense a lot. and he was supposed to, but now dealing with this injury once again, it just seems like the injuries are piling up for the Pittsburgh Steelers this season. One of the commentators during this week's game was saying how the Steelers had been relatively healthy throughout the season. And I didn't understand why he said that, because they've been dealing with a lot of injuries to some top tier guys on their team, from Cameron Heyward, Deontay Johnson, and many more. Like Kenny Pickett was getting injured with a head injury, even though he'd played the next week. They're still dealing with some injuries throughout the year, and this is just a game where it was really bad. They lost to a 2-10 team, a team that they're supposed to beat, but all we know is Steelers never beat the easy teams. They always usually play down to their competition, and they always usually show up for the big time games and keep those ones close, and then against the bad teams, they don't really show up. And once again this week, they just didn't show up against a very bad team. 2-10. This was a game that we needed to have if we're making a playoff push, but we didn't get it. We actually got blown out. Should have got by losing by even more, but a late touchdown kind of saved kind of the point differential. But the Steelers lose this game. And now let me just kind of recap it for you, just in case if you guys missed it or want to know the stats. So, like I said, the Steelers lost this game 24-10, and the stats look like this. Kenny Pickett, he played basically the first quarter. He completed 7 out of 10 passes. That first drive looked really good, but then it ended in a field goal, and he got injured kind of the next few series. Mitchell Trubisky took over. He finished the game 11 of 17 passing for 117 yards, 1 touchdown. Running the ball on the day, Najee Harris finished with 16 carries for 63 yards, 3.9 yards per carry. Jalen Warren had 9 carries for 59 yards at 6.6 yards per carry. Receiving the ball on the day, 2 people had 4 receptions, George Pickens and Deontay Johnson, but George Pickens had the more yardage, 4 receptions for 86 yards, which equals out to 21.5 yards per catch. Deontay Johnson had 4 receptions for 33 yards and 1 touchdown, which was the late touchdown that I was talking about. They should have got blown up by even more, but that 1 touchdown really saved the point differential, and he had 8.2 yards per reception. Pat Freiermuth had some good third down conversions, but he finished the game with only 3 receptions for 29 yards. Allen Robinson, 3 receptions, 19 yards. Najee Harris, 2 receptions, 14. Kwon Austin finally got involved a little bit, barely played, but 1 reception for 10 yards. And then on the defense side of the ball, Mykal Walker, after Elandon Roberts went down with an injury, he saw more kind of game reps, and he finished with a team-high 7 tackles. Alex Highsmith, he had 1.5 sacks on the day. And also, TJ Watt, he also had a sack on the day. So, the Steelers, this is kind of what their team looked like, the offense and the defense. And moving over to the Cardinals side of the ball, Kyler Murray finished the game with 13 of 23 passing, 145 yards, 1 touchdown. He added in 9 carries for 20 yards. James Conner finished with a game-high 25 carries for 105 yards, 4.2 yards per carry, 2 touchdowns. Michael Walker, he had 4 carries for 25 yards, so the running the ball on the day did really good, especially in the second half after Elandon Roberts came down with an injury. So James Conner, he finally returned to Pittsburgh after a long waiting time. He played at Pitt University with the Pitt Panthers, and he also played with the Steelers. Basically, his whole football career has been in Pittsburgh, so him returning to Pittsburgh, it was a really good storyline for him. Receiving the ball in the day for the Cardinals, Trey McBride, he really was a difference maker for them with 8 receptions for 89 yards, and then 1 touchdown, 11.1 yards per reception. And then the other guys like Greg Dortch, he drew a good pass interference call on Joey Porter Jr. in the end zone, but then everyone else basically did nothing. So that's what the Cardinals offense looked like. Budda Baker had led their team with 6 tackles on the day. But just overall, the Steelers played really bad football, and those stats weren't good for the Cardinals. If you look at those stats, they're not super good. You wouldn't expect them to win the game by the point differential that they did, but the Steelers just couldn't score. Their defense was on the field for too long, and eventually the Cardinals are going to score, and they won the game. But that's how it went for each team, stat-wise. Also, we watched this poor performance from the Pittsburgh Steelers. Not only did we watch a 3-hour game, which it usually takes for all the bad football the Steelers have played, but this game actually took 4.5 hours. because of all those delays. So usually we're watching the Pittsburgh Steelers play some poor football for 3 hours, but now we had to watch them for 4.5 hours play some poor football. So all those rain delays that happened, it made us watch it for even longer. Such a poor performance. But it's Steelers football. We're used to this. And next week, hopefully, they're able to get a win and bounce back and make that playoff push that I said that they're hoping to make, that they were trying to make last season as well. They fell short last season. Will they fall short this season? Who knows? But is it all Matt Canada's fault if the offense still looks bad? That's for you to decide. But with that being said, that's the end of this video. But let me know down in the comments below, how do you feel about this? How do you feel about Minkah Fitzpatrick breaking his hand and all those other injuries the Steelers suffered? Do you believe Minkah will be out for a while? Do you believe all these injuries are just short-term injuries? Let me know your thoughts and how they can affect the team moving forward. And your thoughts about this game specifically, losing to the 2-10 Arizona Cardinals and getting basically blown out and their offense only scoring 10 points, which should have been only 3. Let me know your thoughts. And also, don't forget to subscribe to the channel down below as well if you like serious content and analysis reports. Like the video, turn on post notifications down below for the channel as well, so you get notified whenever I post next year's video. I cover everything Pittsburgh Steelers news like this, breaking news, film breakdown, reactions, everything like that. So if you want to stay up to date with everything, turn on notifications for this channel so you never miss out. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys all later. Till next time, I'm out. Peace.